I'd love to talk about the feel good chemicals in your brain, right? Like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, how these chemicals, like how the choices that you make in life and the food that you eat and the things that you do, how they increase those levels and can increase your overall happiness too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So much of the control you have is over goal setting. And so goal setting affects behavior. Goal setting affects behavior, of course, but goal setting affects in backward fashion the dopamine release. You take control of your dopamine, which then indirectly affects your serotonin, which is your emotional, depression, anxiety, all that, through appropriate positive goal setting. We talk about good stress and bad stress. Bad stress is the kind of activities, behaviors, and thoughts. Behaviors, thoughts, and emotions. Behaviors, thoughts, and emotions that are not driven by your purpose, that don't have clear timelines, that don't have clear successes, and they just accumulate. And that stressor creates this sympathetic body response, which is constant anxiety, constant inflammation. So
And
you have to
immunosuppression.
So your limbic, hypothalamic, pituitary axis, which is driven by this kind of feeling, suppresses multiple things. Your sex hormones are suppressed. Your growth hormones are suppressed. Your immune system is suppressed through the cortisol and endocrine system. Your thought processes are affected because it affects your focus on survival, and your frontal lobe, which is thinking brain, is actually subdued. So everything is affected through this process. And what is that? When you don't have good stress and you have bad stress. And what is good stress? Good stress is when you have purpose-driven behaviors, thoughts, and emotions that have clear timelines, clear successes. And when you achieve those and you actually mark it with a checkbox or with a reward, intrinsic reward, you actually affect your dopamine reward system. You actually affect your dopamine emotional system. You re-engineer your emotions, you re-engineer your behavior, you re-engineer your outlook on life. Not by some contrived act, but by small incremental positive behaviors towards your purpose.
I talk about this in my second book, is that small change produces big results
Yes.
over time.
Yes.
It's like the analogy of just dropping some small change in your piggy bank every day, right?
Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
time, all of a sudden you got a bunch of money in there, right?
Yeah.
And so these small changes that you can make to your daily routine, these small shifts may seem insignificant, and it may seem hard to imagine, like, how is this going to make a difference? But it's that daily consistency. And I love that you said motivation is, not a great word. And I agree, because really what's in the cancer world, especially in healing cancer, what I say is motivation fades, right? It comes and goes. It's an emotion that some days you feel motivated, some days you don't. And what's going to carry you through to success is determination. That is the character quality. That, again, may also be hard to measure, but it's a character quality that basically says, I don't care how I feel, I'm doing this because I know I need to do it because it's good for me, right?
Yeah.
Because I have the end goal in mind, right? I've set a goal. I know where I want to be. Healthy Island, right? I'm pointing my ship toward Healthy Island.
Yeah.
And every day I'm very clear about why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I think that, it's easier in some ways for a cancer patient to take care of themselves if they've decided they want to change their life. It's harder for someone who is like, well, I'm healthy, my brain works fine, right? To make those changes, right? Because they don't have an imminent threat. It just seems like, oh, that's so far off. Who knows if I'll get it? I probably, I don't have any family history of Alzheimer's. That kind of talk. But it's encouraging that, to know that the same strategy that I've been talking about for years, that you're talking about, you're helping your patients with, can help reduce your risk, put you in the lowest possible risk of most chronic diseases, right?
It does. It does.
They're simple things.
Very simple thing. Talking about putting change in a piggy bank. In this case, the change actually is exponential. You actually accumulate what is it? You add up to that change that you put in. So the change that you put in today adds to the change that you had it before. So it's exponential.
Compounding.
It's exponentially compounding. That's the power that your brain has. You have 87 billion neurons. When they compare the brain to a muscle, oh my goodness, you'll see how they're really doing disservice to the brain. The biggest human being you know is 3 times bigger than they could be, right? So you have 87 billion neurons. When you give it the right environment, which is the nutrition, exercise, sleep, and mental activity, which is positive, each neuron can make a couple of connections or as many as 30,000 connections. That's not triple the size. That's 15,000 times the power.
Wow.
That's not compounding. That's compounding on superpower. I don't want to say steroids, on exponential power. So that's what we're doing on a daily basis when one good meal has that much effect. Creating a pattern of good sleep has that much effect. Focusing on good stress, which is optimizing brain activities. Yes, Sudoku and crossword puzzles are great, but learning a new musical instrument, learning new songs, learning new dances, running a company, volunteering, playing cards with friends like poker, with all the talk back and forth, all of that, enjoy all of this. This is brain activity that's challenging, is around your purpose, has successes. Taking classes that you could never take before and take them now. Those kind of activities really, really compound the benefits of nutrition.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you just saw, why not subscribe? Here's a link to do that. And if you'd like to watch the full interview, you can find it at chrisbeatcancer.com. There's a link to it in the description right below this video.